Thank you for double-clicking your mouse tonight. You're listening to the Midnight FrightCast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Midnight FrightCast episode number 25. I am one of your hosts, Josh. Sitting across the table from me, as always, is Patrick.
Hey everybody.
And calling in from the Oma of Haas is Greg the Movie Guy.
I am to your left tonight. What's up, everybody?
To my left, Greg the Movie Guy. Well, welcome to episode number 1, really, of 2018. We are doing a couple things different tonight. We're doing a new segment tonight. Should we just kick it off with that? Or
Let's kick it off with that.
Anything new going on in the world of anybody? New stuff? We're going to talk about all the movie stuff, so.
Yeah, no, just
any announcements?
Just the new year, no big announcements or anything like that.
Greg, you look like all bright-eyed and like you have something to say.
I mean, I do have an announcement. I was going to save it for the end, but I can do it now if you'd like.
Go, Greg, yeah. He does have an announcement. I know what it is because I'm awesome.
You know what the announcement
Well,
is.
I waterboarded the shit out of him until he told me what it was.
He did.
So.
He tied me up and he whipped me until I told him.
All right.
It wasn't overly painful, though. I'm going to stop there.
Go, Greg.
Go, Greg.
So I have some happy news and some sad news. I have to announce tonight that gregthemovieguy.blogspot.com very soon will be no more. It's a very sad day. However, it's not really a sad day because I'm actually opening up gregthemovieguy.com.
Hey,
The website is really cool. I was on it yesterday.
That's
legitimate
awesome.
now.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I just started. I'm working on a website right now. It's live if you want to check it out. It's got everything moved over, all 150 reviews that I've done since 2011 is when I started this.
That's
7 years.
crazy.
It's been 7 years I've been doing this, and I only have 150 posts. God, that's pathetic.
Not really, though. That's a lot. I mean, you break it down, that's a lot of writing, dude. So
Very true, very true. But I still enjoy it. I'm glad to be getting this. I'm hoping to be getting my goal for 2018 is to be getting a lot more readers and a lot more shares and a lot more comments and most importantly, just watching more movies and reviewing them. So I'm really excited to be taking off on this venture and getting it kickstarted. So GregTheMovieGuy.com.
I'm looking at the site right now. It looks really good, Greg.
yeah, it looks really good.
Thank you.
So
Maybe one of these days I'll read one of his reviews.
you should probably start doing that. They're actually very insightful and informative, and I read most of them because I stalk him and just look for them. So our new segment, you want to kick on over to the new segment? Something we're going to try. We'll see how it goes, and then maybe the next week we'll kick it off and say that did not work at all. But what I want to try, I guess, semi kind of review a trailer. The idea is to pick a trailer of a horror film that's coming out either that month, if there's one coming out that month, and if not, we'll just one coming out in 2018. So this month, Insidious, The Last Key, that came out. There's obviously a trailer floating around for it. But since it's already come out, there's a movie coming out this year, and we all watched the trailer for it yesterday.
It's one that I pimped out yesterday into the group.
And we all had kind of different reactions to it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to take that trailer tonight and just break it down a little bit. Our thoughts. Do you think you'd go see that movie? Anything like that. So the trailer that we're going to break down tonight is a movie called Mom and Dad, starring Nicolas Cage. And who's the woman? Who's the female in it? We're going to look like assholes if we don't know who the female is in that movie.
I almost said Aubrey Plaza, and I knew that's incorrect.
Selma Blair. It's Selma Blair.
Selma Blair. I was going to say it's the person that was in Hellboy.
It's Nick Cage and Selma Blair. And Greg, I think, had like one of the best not reactions to it, but like comparisons of another movie to it.
Right. And his comparison was exactly how I felt about it.
That's what you thought also?
Yep.
I went completely another bonkers way. So, Greg, I'm gonna pick on Greg first because why not? So just tell us what you said yesterday, Greg. When you first saw this trailer, what did it remind you of? He's searching like you forgot.
Yes, he is. I did forget. I have to state, we have a thread on Facebook Messenger, and the content that's poured into this, you can't remember everything.
You can't. Well, I mean, within one day, we go through pages upon pages of messages, and there's no way in heck we can remember what we
I will
said.
remind you, Greg, and then you can go from there. Is that fair?
Yes, please.
Okay. So Greg said that Mom and Dad is like a reverse Cooties.
Oh, yes.
That's what you said yesterday. So why do you feel like that?
Well, if you remember in Cooties, the children obtain a very mysterious disease.
They eat bad meat.
They eat bad meat.
They eat bad chicken nuggets.
Bad meat, they become zombies, essentially. Or they go crazy, whatever you want to call them. They start to try and eat the people, or the teachers, or wherever they're at. So in Mom and Dad, it seems to be kind of a reverse where Mom and Dad go crazy. We're not really sure why. I don't know if it showed why. Did it show why?
No.
In the trailer, it did not.
It
It wasn't just Mom and Dad. It's everybody's mom and dad. It is all the parents.
Yeah, it's every single parent.
So adults are now going crazy for some unknown reason. Maybe they ate bad meat, or
it could be an age thing.
It
maybe
gives
once
you nothing.
once you're out of puberty or something. I don't know. So
It's kind of like all the parents are just like fed up with their fucking kids, and they're like, kill these little bastards because I'm done.
They snap, essentially.
Yeah.
They snap, and they start going after their children. And Nick Cage it gives him a reason to be who he is. So this could be interesting.
This could be a perfect role for him.
Exactly.
What I like about this, and I shared your thoughts on that it did seem like a reverse Cooties to me, and I think it's because the trailer was set up that way as well, because part of it takes place at a school, blah 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 blah, because they're on their way to school, and then the parents are attacking the building, different things like that.
Oh yeah, yep.
And also the fact that it is a horror comedy. But one thing I kind of like about what I saw in this is that they're not like rage zombies like the Cooties kids became.
Yeah.
That they're more like, we're insane killers now.
Yeah. I mean,
because it didn't become cannibalistic. They weren't trying to eat their kids or anything like that. But they did become, extremely volatile.
So to me, it's more like The Crazies, if you've ever seen that.
Oh yeah,
it's like it's basically that. It's because there's no. Sorry, Greg. There's no.
It's okay. I was going to say it's very similar. I'm sorry. I'm shutting up.
No, you're okay. There's no they give you no rhyme or reason as to why these people are now acting like complete assholes. Mm-hmm. They just go, here's my mom and dad. We're all kind of good, kind of like my kids are acting bratty and like complete dicks, but let's go on with our day. And then they come home, or they go to school, and then they come home, and all of a sudden their parents are all pissed off at them. But there's nothing in between that shows you why they're all raging now. Mm-hmm. So in the Crazies, it doesn't really there's something dropped in the air. Yeah. I'm pretty sure in the Crazies, but it doesn't really give you a reason in that movie either. Just people are just all of a sudden insane.
Right. And just remember, we're looking at a trailer. I don't think we need to be given a reason why or how.
No, you're right.
Just that it does happen.
Yeah.
Watching this trailer, even some of the one-liners that Nick Cage had in just the trailer alone.
That hokey pokey had the thing, the hokey pokey line at the end. Did we lose Greg?
No, I'm here.
Okay. Where he's singing the hokey pokey thing, and then he just goes, fuck, right at the end of it. I was like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's interesting just looking at that and thinking Nick Cage can act comedy, and he has not really done a lot of comedy. And I'd like to see what he does with this, because once again, like Greg said, gives him the ability to be the insane Nick Cage that we all know and love, but then also be able to show some of his comedy chops.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, for me, I'm not a Nick Cage fan. If I want to watch Nick Cage rage, I'll go watch Con Air. Mm-hmm. I'll go watch Face Off. I'll go watch something like that. I liked Nick Cage in horror films does not really, again, it's that A-list thing that doesn't really work for me. Right. Although he's in No Danger. He was in a movie called Trespass with Nicole Kidman where he was in danger, and I hated him in that too because he just doesn't, those people do not fit for me in those kind of movies. That's the only thing that would really hold me off from seeing this movie. If it was a fairly unknown, I know they got to cast people to draw you to come to the theater to watch the movie, but just watching A-list actors in those kind of roles doesn't work for me.
But that's one of the things that compelled me to Cooties was the people that were in it. Elijah Wood.
Yeah, that's true.
Names escaping me. The guy from The Office.
Oh, Rainn Wilson.
Yeah. Yes. And some other people in that. Yeah. That's one of the things that drew me to that because once, but I'm also a big fan of horror comedy.
Yeah.
So
when it works.
Yeah. When it works. When it works. I've seen
there's some stinkers in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, just trying to tie a bow on this whole thing. By the trailer, is it something you would watch?
I was just going to ask you that same thing. Roundtable, Greg, would you watch or would you go see Mom and Dad?
Well, see, there's two questions coming on this. Is it a movie you would watch?
Yes.
Is it a movie you would go to the theater to watch?
On a Tuesday night, I would, which is a $5 movie night.
That's exactly my same answer. I think I would really, really enjoy this movie, but it would be a Tuesday night or a prior to 11. What is that called? The early bird thing? I don't know what they call it at Marcus Theaters.
Matinee.
No, there's one before the matinee.
Pre-matinee, then?
It's like anything before 11 is that $6 price, $5 price.
These are the nerds who have no lives
well,
and go to movies at this time.
Or it's people that, see a lot of movies, but they don't want to spend a lot of bucks.
Okay, well, you will see Mom and Dad drop January 19th of this year. You will not see it. I do not think it's going to get a theatrical release. I think it's actually out on VOD other places. I do not think it's going to get a theatrical release. I just don't think it's going to be a big enough movie to do that. I don't think it'll sell in a theater.
Right.
To be honest with you, I would see it if it's streamed on Netflix or streamed on one of those services. I'd probably watch it. I wouldn't seek it out in the theater. Not even on a $5 Tuesday. I wouldn't seek that movie out.
And to tell you the truth, I don't even know how I even ran across it.
It's been out.
Yeah.
I've been hearing about it for a while. It was played in Toronto and last year, so it's been like they've made their presence known. That's the first time I've seen a trailer for it, though. But I have heard other people talk about the movie.
Well, and once again, throwing Cooties out there, that was one of those that hit the festivals and then took a year and a half, 2 years before it even came out on DVD.
Yeah. It took a while.
It did take a while before it got distribution. So maybe that's what's going to happen with that one, is just looking for distribution.
In theaters. I'm looking at the IMDb page right now, and it does say it's getting a theatrical release on January 19th. Yeah.
Is it going to be limited? Does it say that?
I can't click on it, so I don't know. It just says coming soon in theaters January 19th.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sure if it gets theatrical, it'll be semi-limited, and because of the nature of the film, because it is a horror film, it'll probably be in for like a week or two, and then it's gone because we're hitting award season, and theaters aren't going to want to play that shit.
Not only that, but we just have better horror films coming, and it's gonna take a spot from something better that'll drop later. So
you never answered the question though, Josh. Is it a movie you would watch?
Well, I would watch it if it was streaming like on Netflix or something. Yeah,
but you would not go to the theater to watch it.
I would not chase that movie.
Even a $5 movie.
I wouldn't.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, you don't like comedy though.
I'm not funny. I'm very just drab and uninteresting, and I don't like to laugh. So fuck horror comedy. So let's jump into. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think what would be fun, but I think it might lose its effectiveness. Next time we do this, if we do another trailer review, that maybe we pick a trailer that we have not seen, we watch it and get a live reaction.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. There's plenty of trailers coming.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many trailers out there now, and I'll start seeking out the February, March, April kind of trailers that are for movies that are going to be dropping in those months.
But I'm just thinking, for our audience, they're obviously not going to be seeing but we can link.
We can drop a link in there.
We can drop a link and everything else. But I think it'd be kind of fun to see our instant reaction to it.
What to find out how to do that.
Yeah, because if we were to
so many people do that with like the Star Wars and the really big movies. Why can't we do it with horror movies? So game on.
All right,
Coolio for Schoolio. Let's jump into what we've been watching.
Sure.
Greg, you want to start that since we're picking on Greg tonight?
Why are we picking on me?
I don't know.
I blame the weather that I'm not live.
Yeah, we're punishing you for not driving through the snow and being safe
on the side of a fucking snowy road.
Exactly. You can start, Greg. If you don't want to start, I can start. I only got 3.
That's fine.
So.
I've had a really, really good week for movie watching. I'm coming back with a vengeance. Are we doing this round robin style, or are we going list fest?
I'd just say list fest. Get through it.
That's fine.
Perfect.
That's fine.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago, Emily and I went to the theaters. We saw the movie Downsizing, new Alexander Payne, hometown boy, hometown hero. Weird movie. I haven't posted my review yet on GregTheMovieGuy.com because I'm still processing what the hell I saw.
Expect to hear GregTheMovieGuy.com about 30 more times.
It's going to get fucking plug GregTheMovieGuy.com.
Oh, I'll plug Greg the Movie Guy.
Yeah, we'll have to do plugs at the end now.
I will plug the movie guy, Greg the Movie Guy, like nobody's plugged him before.
Sweet.
All right.
Bring it.
Downsize it, Greg.
So, went and saw Downsizing. Watched the Netflix original Bright with Will Smith. It was good, but it wasn't great. The premise was interesting. It's basically taking present day and mixing it with, like, fantasy world where Will Smith is an old, like, Danny Glover type cop who gets a partner that's an orc. And there's a lot of, like, different, like, racial tones where the orcs are basically the new African-American race, and they're treated as such, or they're portrayed as such, and it's really just, it's bizarre how they do it. I wanted it to be better.
To leave a bad taste in your mouth?
Yes, take it or leave it. If you want to watch it, go for it.
Well, will it make you feel better knowing that it was greenlit for a sequel?
Of course it was.
Yeah. So there will be a Bright 2. It's coming. Thank you, Netflix.
Cool. On Friday, Emily and I went back to the theaters. I let her pick the movie this time. We went and saw Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah.
Stupidly entertaining.
It was kind of fun, right?
It was stupidly entertaining.
Okay.
There were a couple, like, I appreciate that they kept the mythology of the original Jumanji alive. Very much appreciate that. I appreciate the nods that they did to the old movie.
The video game thing bother you?
Yes,
yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. That was tough. I don't know how you could get around that, but I was talking with one of my friends at work who said he loved the movie, and I was telling him, if they would have made this and called it Bamboozled, I think it would have done just fine. But it's because they had to attach it to a successful IP is what really kind of turns me off about it. So
now they're doing that kind of thing because they're no longer chasing people our age. They're going for younger kids and stuff who are into, like, if you were a 10-year-old now, would you be as interested in Jumanji if it wasn't in the video game world? If it was just a board game like it was when we were kids? Like now everything is so everything's electronic and it's video games and everything like that. They have to almost do that now
and I get it. I get why they're doing that. I understand they're trying to bring a new generation into a successful franchise, and they want to make fans of those and bring back in the fans of the original movie. That's why I'm saying, had they done it with a completely different name, completely different franchise, start something brand new and original, I think it would have stood on its own just fine. It would have been one of those really cool, like, 1980s types. Here's something unique and original. Let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
I think it would have been one of those types of movies. But they stuck the Jumanji name on it, and that, for me personally, that's what hurt it. Or that's what kind of turned me away from it. Was they're just lassoing those in on the current IPs, and you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a cash cow. Step out of your box.
Yeah.
Be original. So it was stupidly entertaining. If you want to go check it out, take your kids to it. I think it's fine. It's a little off color on the humor, but
there's some jokes in there that I was like, that probably shouldn't be happening. And then there was a little bit of language in there that I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, Kevin Hart is Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
he's PG-13 Kevin Hart. Actually, the funniest part of that movie was when they're taking a piss. I'll just say it.
Oh yeah, the Jack Black thing.
That I think was the funniest part of the entire
movie. Trying to figure out how to use a dick. Yeah,
right.
I'm just gonna say it. I don't care. Spoilers.
So my last two are actually two TV shows that I found, both on Netflix. One is called Friends from College. Keegan-Michael Key, Kobe Smulders. I've heard mixed reviews about this, and I wanted to check it out because I love Colby Smulders from her role in How I Met Your Mother as Robin Scherbatsky. And I think both her and Key do a phenomenal job in this movie or in the show.
Yeah, I caught that a few months ago and really enjoyed it as well.
It's entertaining. It feels very reminiscent of a group of friends that I have from actually high school, but we're just as stupid and trying to grow up in kind of that same realm. So it's very very close to home for me. And then the last one, actually, Emily discovered, is a show that was just released on Netflix called Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this.
Yeah.
It is
With Jerry
hysterical.
Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Yes, it is hysterical. Absolutely love listening to the backstories behind these comedians and actors and all that. And just the medium that they do it in is so nonchalant and so personal that it just really kind of draws you in. So definitely highly recommend checking that out.
Yeah, he's had that for a couple years now, at least. It's been.
And see, I didn't know that. I was talking with one of my buddies last night, and apparently, he's been doing this for a couple years, and I figured they just released it on Netflix
I think
as
it's a YouTube thing.
Yeah,
a new TV show. So I'm really excited to see more about it. So that's my list.
Cool.
You or me?
I don't care.
I'll go. I caught a movie called Compliance, and it made me feel very, very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But also, I found it to be very, very unrealistic at a couple points, just because I felt that at some point, the people that were being manipulated should have just known what was going on was not right. Saying, no, there's no way this officer would ask me to do this. There's just no way in hell.
Yeah.
So at that point, it did get a little unbelievable for me, but it still was very effective for me.
It's icky.
It is an icky movie.
Yeah.
If you want to watch a thriller that kind of makes you feel icky, then that's one of them right there.
When you talked about Secretary a little while back, Compliance is the movie I went to.
Okay.
I got the two kind of mixed up.
Okay, sure. But it's still a movie I would recommend because I feel it was a very effective movie. Josh lent me a couple DVDs that I took some time to watch. 47 Meters Down was one of them. Not much of a script there, not much of a plot line, but still very effective. I felt the tension building throughout the entire thing, and really enjoyed that one.
And it's now free on Netflix, so nobody has an excuse not to watch that movie, by the way.
Okay. I had to admit to Josh a few podcasts ago that I had never seen any of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. So he did lend me those DVDs, and I watched the very first Tobe Hooper Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Chainsaw broken into two words, chainsaw, as opposed to the rest of the series, which
is really?
one word, chainsaw.
I didn't even notice that. Okay.
Yep. I was watching it as if I'd seen it before, and I swear to God, I had never seen it before because there were so many parts of it that just seemed very familiar to me. Did I end up liking it, loving it? To me, it was extremely effective. Did you just about fall backwards in your chair?
No. So chairs tilt back unless you plug it or push the pin in to
right.
Pull it back. Well, I pushed the pin in, the pin slipped, and that's what you just saw. So
let's watch Greg die.
I just say we're watching Greg on the iPad here because he's FaceTiming in, and all of a sudden we just see him fly backwards. That was pretty cool.
That was great.
So Texas Chainsaw, I enjoyed it. I ended up enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the others because I'm going to try to watch the next 6 or 7.
And I have Leatherface for you now too.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
This one I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that I watched. It's called Goon: Last of the Enforcers with
Sean William Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, no, you own that. That is a great movie. The first one was a great movie.
I've never seen
the
Goon.
first one was good. That's why I watched the second one, and I think it lost a lot of its luster in the second one.
That upsets me.
Have you seen it, Greg?
I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the second one.
I would say watch the second one because he does a great job. I mean, I think it's so weird because, he did he was Stifler, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's on the American Pie movies. Yeah.
So he did all those and Dude, Where's My Car and all that other crap. And I don't think he gets enough recognition for how good he really is.
He's a great actor. I think he's just, he's stuck in, he said playing Stifler was the best and worst thing he ever did.
Yeah.
Because he became known as Stifler, but he became known as Stifler.
Right.
So he's kind of stuck.
I don't think people take him seriously
Yeah.
enough to put him in a movie that he could really, really do well at.
Yeah.
And then the final thing, I know that I've watched more than this, but I'm only going to bring 4 to the table. It's a series on Netflix, and I'm only halfway through it, but I absolutely love it, and I can't finish watching it until my daughter gets back from tour. The End of the Fucking World.
I started watching this too. I like it a lot.
And it's a series. It's about 20 minutes long each episode, 21 minutes. So it's easy to kind of to break through these. The first 21 minutes, it caught me. It hooked me. I'm stuck on this thing. Okay. And I don't know if it's because the characters are sociopath kids or what the hell it is. It's just quirky enough for my tastes and sensibilities that I absolutely love and recommend this, even on the first 6 episodes.
Oh, how many episodes is it on there?
I want to say 10.
Oh, that's not even bad. Like 10,
No,
20-minute episodes?
Because it's a British series, but it's a Netflix original.
Okay.
You could binge this in like an afternoon very easily.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but it takes you off guard, and I really just enjoy it so far.
Cool. I'll blow through mine really, really. Is that it, Patrick?
That's it. But
I'll blow through mine really, really fast. I only have 3. I watched on Friday night, and again, I know I got more than this out of the week, but the 3 that I even care to mention, I'll just mention. I finally watched. I'm super late to this game. Insidious 3. It's a prequel to all the other Insidious movies, and I watched it because the new Insidious just came out, The Last Key, and I want to see that. And I remember being a fan. I'm a fan of the Insidious franchise. I love the prequel. I really like Lynn Shay, and I don't think even knew her before Insidious, but she's so good in these movies. And
something about Mary.
And she's what ties everything, all these movies together. But yeah, the prequel was really great. I watched it really late and I was super tired, and I easily made it through the movie though. And then how they brought the end up and how the end kind of starts Insidious. It's just really, really, the whole franchise is really great. So I watched that. I watched, this is my new movie watch. I had never seen any of them yet before. So I tried to watch new movies now, at least get a few new ones in there. So I watched Friend Request. And I was like, I'm going to hate this movie. I bought it. And I bought it knowing, I'm going to hate this fucking movie. But I punished myself. And I put my hard-earned money down for movies I know I'm going to hate. And I didn't hate it. I was actually kind of sort of pleasantly surprised, which made me even more mad. I love the social commentary on the social media of the whole thing. And it was just a fairly decent ghost story, really. They tied everything together really, really well. Do you remember that? You saw that movie, Patrick.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on that a little bit? Do you remember it?
I liked the first 2 acts really, really well.
Okay.
The third act kind of
when they got to the towers.
When they got to the towers and all that other stuff. But it was still it was still a movie I enjoyed. Yeah,
I didn't see the turn coming with the friend and what he did with her. I didn't see that coming, so that kind of caught me off guard. It was kind of nice. You should have seen it coming because it's from the beginning to where it happens.
Exactly.
You kind of you should see that kind of weird shit coming, but I didn't. And then the way it ended, I was kind of whatever. I got over it. So, Friend Request, I'd tell everybody to at least watch it one time. If it comes up on Netflix or wherever it drops eventually, click on it, watch it. It's a good, easy, fairly decent one-time watch. Now it's stuck in my collection, but whatever. And then the third movie I watched was another movie I put down my hard-earned money for that I knew I was going to fucking hate so much. And yet I own it now. And I knew I was going to hate it because I hated the first one. So I watched The House is October Built 2. And Greg, I just gave it to Patrick. You gotta watch it. It's so, perk up your chair, my friend, and listen in because it's so much better than the first one. It's so. I was telling Patrick, I handed it to him. I was like, watch this. It's so way better than the first one. And hang on. And I'm going to go back and watch the first one now because you will never watch the first one the same after the information you get from the second one.
I am so excited to hear you say that. I'm probably just going to go out and buy both movies right now. I'm just going to state I like The Houses October built. I can't figure out why, but I liked it. So I'm
clowns and all.
Yeah,
you enjoyed that movie.
Here's the other thing, though. I think one of the things I hated about Houses October built was how they shot it. That shaky cam shit, I could not.
It was terrible.
I couldn't get through it. This is so much like more clean and steady. It's still shot found footage, but it's so much cleaner and just steady, and you're not seeing everybody run, and it's not shaky.
Okay.
It's just so much easier to watch. So maybe that was a reason as well. I enjoyed the characters. It's the same characters. Spoiler, sorry, I think I just ruined that for
it's
you.
in the description of the movie.
And I liked them better in this movie, and just the way they tie everything together. And like I said, the information that you get from this movie, you'll never watch the first one the same again.
Awesome. I'm curious to see what they do with it, because there's part of me in my head says, didn't they learn their lesson the first time?
Mm-hmm. I'm so that kind of shit. When you say that, I'm like, you are in for a fucking ride.
Okay.
It's crazy. So House of October Built 2, you got me. You win. That's my 3.
So that's what we've been watching.
That's what we've been watching.
Excellent.
So yeah, let's our feature segment. Let's try to.
Well, we're doing something different.
Yeah,
this time.
Well, we did a double feature.
We're doing a double feature.
So we need to cram through it. We watched as our double feature Creep and Creep 2, both on Netflix. Patrick will give you the information.
I will. Let me jump on over to the laptop so I can read these off. For Creep, when a videographer answers a Craigslist ad for a one-day job in a remote mountain town, he finds his client is not all that he initially seems. That's Creep. Let's look at Creep 2. A video artist looking for work drives to a remote house in the forest to meet a man claiming to be a serial killer. But after agreeing to spend the day with him, she soon realizes that she made a deadly mistake. Let me give some ratings.
Yeah,
here.
do that, sir.
Because these guys know that I loved both these movies, and I just wanted to compare what I thought with the ratings that it got. So Creep, IMDb 6.2 out of 10 with a Metascore of 74%.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 96 for the critics, and the audience a 64. So there's a big gap between audience and the critics. For Creep 2, IMDb 6.4 out of 10, Metascore 75%, Rotten Tomatoes 100% critic review, and the audience with a 69% review. So if you compare the two, they're right along the same lines across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking 6.2, 6.4, 74 meta, 75 meta, tomato 96 and 100, and the audience 64 and 69.
Yeah. It's pretty straight across. Do you want to start, Patrick? Since you have a notebook, Greg reviewed it. I was super far behind. You guys saw Creep a long time ago, right?
Yes.
This is fairly new for me. I avoided it like the plague. But you two...
Well, it's I don't know if the second one was. Second one was a Netflix original, I think.
Netflix produced it.
Netflix produced it. I don't know if it's Netflix original. But the first one was Blumhouse production.
Was it?
Jason Blum was the producer on that. And I don't know if he was.
Then
on
his
the
name's
second
probably
one.
on the second one.
I would assume it's some.
It is.
It's no surprise to these guys here. They've heard me say it a million times before. I'm a Mark Duplass fan. I think I'm a champion for him. I think the work that he and his brother do is just amazing work. They've got the philosophy of, if you got a story, let's make a movie. They don't care about the budget or anything like that. If they've got a story, they're going to make a movie.
Yeah.
And Mark Duplass was one of the co-writers on these. Patrick Bryce, who also starred...
He played Aaron in the first one.
Aaron in the first one was a co-writer and director.
And he directed it too, yeah.
And then he was the director, writer, co-writer in the second
Creep
one.
too. Okay, yeah.
Mark Duplass in both of these movies, I think, just knocks it out of the park of being one of the creepiest individuals I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Because I have seen him play the most tender person in the world, the most awkward person in the world, and now I see him play the creepiest fucking person in the world. It's found footage.
Yeah,
style.
Yep.
Which I know we're kind of at that point where
it's either hit or miss.
It's either hit or miss on how it's shot.
Yeah.
I think I think it was handled really, really well. I mean, when it comes to found footage, there's always a question of why do these people always have these cameras on 100% of the time? And
the most convenient time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But there were ways that they handled it that I think worked really, really well. And then also to Mark Duplass's credit, he really puts himself out there as an actor in both of these movies. I don't know how much of this was actually scripted, how much of it was improv.
Yeah.
And also what he does, he really allows himself to go beyond what I think most actors would do.
Should we also drop the spoiler alert because this is a spoilcast?
Yes.
Creep's been out way long.
Creep's been out for a long time.
And if you're going to spoil Creep, you might as well spoil Creep too.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts anyway.
Yeah.
Greg, you got some thoughts, Greg?
I sure do. So yeah, just like you said, I had posted a review on this movie a while back, actually. I think it was last year, was it? 2 years ago, maybe? Stand by. Here we go. 2014 was when I watched it.
God, is that old of a movie?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this. Like Patrick said, I love Mark Duplass. I think he's a phenomenal creator. You know, he's not just an actor. He's not just a producer or a director. He is a movie creator, and he and Jay do incredible work. Absolutely loved his stuff in The League. Probably one of my favorite roles of his, and one of my favorite projects of his. And so anything that comes along on Netflix or anywhere, I'll check out without even a hesitation. And Creep was exactly as it sounds. It was a creepy movie, or he plays an incredible creepy guy. I think the thing that really stuck with me the most was when you first see this movie, how immediately you attach yourself to this character, how immediately you sympathize to him, because his intentions are he's videoing his life for his unborn child because of
he has cancer
or something like that. And it's just like that's really a heartfelt type of thing. And then the movie progresses and it just goes fucking downhill from there. But it's fucking creepy. There's no other way to put it. It is creepy as shit what he turns himself into. I felt that the last 15 minutes of Creep were probably the best of the entire movie. You needed the build-up from the beginning to about the last 15 minutes just to kind of understand where it's going, obviously. But once you get to that last 15 minutes, it is a straight punch you in the face. Oh my God, what the just happened?
Now, does that start with the phone call? Is that 15-minute mark from there to the end?
Like I said, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I don't remember exactly the point, but I believe there was I had to reread my review, and it said the phone call in there was kind of where everything
turning point.
Yeah, when Angela calls.
So,
yeah.
So no, it's a really, really phenomenal movie. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's just he plays easily the weirdest person I've ever seen ever. There's just the whole movie is just the best. I mean, all I can say is just you get a weird feeling the whole from beginning to end. He's walking up those long stairs, and the first time you even meet Mark Duplass's character, you're like, this guy's just really weird. And I don't know if I ever liked him in the movie. Even when he is talking about I'm going to make this movie for my kid, even when he's talking about that, and then he gets in the bathtub and he starts tubby. I'm like, great. But this is weird. And do we need the bath time thing? Do we need? I mean,
I think it gives
something else.
I think it gives you a little insight as to how his character's mind is working. Because I kind of thought that same thing too. Is why are you filming him in the bathtub?
Yeah,
but you get onto the
upon
backside.
Just meeting him. All right, well, I'm going to get naked and get in the bathtub now. So keep filming.
Right, exactly. And I think once you start to kind of understand. Okay, something's not right here because normal people don't just do that.
Yeah. Now, as a compulsive liar, he's the best storyteller ever. He does the tummy time thing. He does the story about the wolf and how the wife in the wolf mask thing
the whole rape thing.
Yeah, he makes that whole thing up. And then you find out later he's not even married. He's just his sister calls and that's it. I mean, he's just the best liar in the world. And to me, that's what made him like interesting. I was like,
even like it says, they were out in the woods and they found the heart-shaped.
yeah.
I mean, are they going to find the heart-shaped pool? And they find it. So then, of course, he's going to believe him from here on out.
Yeah.
And, but then he says, are you still hungry? Let's go get some pancakes. I know this place up the road, they've got the best pancakes. And then they're even sitting at the restaurant. And
he gets caught there.
He gets caught because he says, because he doesn't know he
doesn't know the menu.
He doesn't know the menu.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, didn't your family come here all the time? And they're like, he's like, oh yeah, but the menu's changed.
It's changed, yeah. Well,
so
let's get the pancakes.
He's so quick on his feet, changing his story, and still be likable, even though strange,
it's fucking weird,
and because he throws in those elements of truth with the fiction, and that's what makes it work.
So, but I agree with Greg on the last 15 minutes of that movie. When as soon as that phone call happens. To me, that's where I was in it. Because I was like, right now I'm just watching two dudes talk to each other, and one's telling his story about his life and everything. Once that phone call hits and you find out that it's his sister, he doesn't actually own that cabin, and that he just is kind of nuts. And then he's like, they do that. He tries to find... he had fallen asleep on the couch, and then he's gone. And that shot down the stairs where he's standing against the door in the wolf mask is a fucking fantastic. Just a great shot anyway. And but yeah, that's where lightning just happens. Like that rest of that movie where he escapes and then you find him with he sends him that locket.
The locket.
That was a weird moment. My only question is this, and I think they asked this question. Or he answers this question in the video he makes at the end of the movie. Why the fuck would that guy go to that park and turn his back on this guy ever? Why would you not stand with your back against that lake and just...
Well, he kind of says it, and he says, I love this guy because he's the nicest guy in the world, because he... is willing to forgive. He's willing to believe that I'm a good guy.
Yeah. It's just, the whole movie just gets a 10 for weirdness for me, but not in a bad way.
And I do like the very ending where he's receiving another phone call from somebody else wanting to come in and video him, and just the way they tie that up
it's
at the end.
Now, there was people before Aaron, correct?
Oh, well, because
he's been doing this for a while,
right? Because he took the Aaron DVD and put it in a cupboard where there's DVDs and VHSs. So he's been doing it for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So,
which actually it kind of plays on an interesting point in Creep 2, and I'll bring that up when we get to there.
Well, I think we're kind of there.
So, do you want to rate Creep and then come back and do Creep 2, or do you want to rate them all together?
Rate them, but individually.
For me, 8.5 solid. Maybe you push it to a 9.
Yeah, that all that IMDb audience score shit was low for me.
I felt it was very low.
Yeah, I'd hit an 8 easily on all those.
8, definitely an 8.
So
but talking about the IMDb and the Rotten Tomatoes, I mean, if you take the 67% and the 6.7% or 6.7 out of 10, IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes audience scores match perfectly at 67%.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
So it's still low.
Drop.
Still very low.
So Creep 2.
Creep 2.
And maybe we don't spoil this one as much because it is brand new out this year.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I think that's fair enough.
Can we do this without spoiling the shit out of it completely?
Well, I mean, after watching Creep and knowing that it's the same character going into Creep 2, I think you kind of know what to expect.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, so how do you tell a new story after you've already exposed who he is?
Who he is, exactly. And that's why I liked Creep better than I liked Creep 2, because the mystery of that character was gone. It's there's no more surprises. It's the same. I'm going to invite somebody over, but I'm not going to he tells her something like, I want you to film me. I don't remember what he says.
Well, not only did he do the whole, I'm going to expose myself completely, and he does. But there was also, oops, spoiler. He also says to her, I want you to do basically a biopic of a serial killer.
Yeah.
I mean, he says who he is right away.
And I promise not to kill you for 24 hours.
Yeah.
which I thought was great. Going back really quick though, the way this movie opens in that apartment with the guy who he's current like following, that was like the greatest way to open that movie ever.
Yes,
it was fantastic.
Completely agree with that.
And then I'm glad that we got a little bit more, because with Aaron, you got no insight as to who he was. You just kind of like, he just walked in and you kind of got to know him through the movie. With the new girl, you get a little bit of insight as to what she's trying to accomplish before she even goes.
Right. And also, I felt it was interesting on this turn that it wasn't someone calling him looking for a gig, responding to Craigslist, whatever. Didn't he seek her out?
No, it was same situation.
Was
as
it?
Craigslist
Oh,
ad.
okay. For some reason, I was thinking it was different because of what he says later on, which I can't say.
Yeah, I mean, we'll try.
Talk
I guess
about
we'll
it
try
off
not to say
air.
it. Yeah. Greg, Creep 2.
Before I go, I would actually like to know, Patrick, did you like Creep 1 or Creep 2 better?
I like them both equally. Creep 2 did land on. No, there's a reason I said Creep 3.
Yeah, yeah, I know that reason.
Anyway, Creep 2 quickly jumped to my top 10 of 2017.
Really?
Okay.
It was my number 3 pick. That's why I said Creep 3, because it was my number 3 pick.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, interesting.
Oh, well, then never mind. I don't know that reason.
Oh, you do know that reason. Yeah, it quickly jumped. Did I like it better? Not necessarily. I liked it differently.
Okay, that's fair. That's actually a very valid point.
Yeah.
I like Creep 2 better than I like Creep, because in Creep, the character was a little, I mean, he's creepy, obviously. It was a little weird for me knowing that he was bullshitting that entire time. Whereas in Creep 2, he comes out and he is straight shooting. Like, there is nothing that he's really hiding. And I really like that he's able to open up himself so freely to the Sarah character. And it was really kind of cool to see their interactions between each other, because, he's in a very vulnerable position, not wanting to just continually repeat his kills and all that, doing everything that he's done before. He wants to try and do something new. And so he's trying to find himself, essentially, and she's coming in. I'm sure she's fucking terrified out of her mind, because does she believe that, yeah, he is a serial killer when he basically flat out tells her that, or is he fucking with her, or whatever's going on? She's got to be terrified out of her mind, but she goes along with the entire thing because this is what she's been looking for. And to me, that's almost a really beautiful story in between the two, because they're both working together to obtain their own goals, despite the fact that one of them's a serial killer and the other one is just trying to make a name for herself.
Now, who's creepier in Creep 2? Mark Duplass's character or Sarah? Are you sure?
Yes.
Who's weirder in that movie?
Oh, she is.
Because one could argue she knows and she stays.
Yeah.
So
how demented is, like, how fucked up is that?
How twisted is that? But then again, did she believe him from the beginning? Did she always believe him? And then another thing I wanted to throw out there: did you guys feel that there was a romance going on in
there
this
is
one?
Absolutely,
there definitely
absolutely,
is,
yes.
Because I thought at first maybe she was just going along with it, but then I felt no, she sees something in him.
You see that in the hot tub
scene. Yeah,
where they're
actually, I would almost pin it before that, when they're in the river and he's trying to get the shot.
Yes,
which, by the way, is a freaking cool shot.
Yeah,
where he's sitting in the water and you can see the reflection of him, and it's a really cool shot.
That's a good moment. Yeah,
when he wanders off to go have a moment with himself and you see him with his face in the sand, I think that's kind of the moment where she realizes, I can help this guy. Like, she sees the what's the word I'm looking for? She sees his faults and she feels like she can help him. And it's kind of, that's I think kind of where the romance starts, and then you don't really fully see it until she gets in the hot tub with him.
Now, do you think, because Aaron was a completely different, like, he was trying to leave him towards the end of that movie, and she stays in there, though. There's never a moment where I lied. There's a moment where she tries to leave, but he gives her reason. I don't know how to say this without spoiling it, but
she has a reason to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think like she's like the first person that he's met that hasn't tried to like just bail on him, and that's kind of why he kind of is falling for her a little bit? Does that make sense?
Like she's the first one who broke through?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Because what normal person is going to hear this guy come out and say, I'm a serial killer, I'm tired of killing people normal ways, and so I want to kill somebody else some way differently, so you're videoing this, and I promise not to kill you for 24 hours. I mean, she even said it herself, every red flag about the situation has popped.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a bad situation, get the fuck out of there. And she stays.
Yeah. She stays through that. She stays through the nudity of the situation where he says we should do this. She stays through every single weird moment in that movie.
Right. And I'm sure that he's never seen that before. And so there's something intriguing about, okay, everybody else that I've gone through this with has run. Why are you staying? You know, there's that back and forth of, you're a serial killer, but I'm intrigued by this. Oh, you're staying because I'm a serial killer. I'm intrigued by this. There's a lot of give and take between the two, and I think that's kind of a beautiful story between it.
Do you also feel like he's trying to up his creep level in Creep 2? Because every time he tries something, she doesn't run or she doesn't react or she doesn't bite on it. So he goes, I'll try this again. He tries the wolf thing. She doesn't bite. He takes his clothes off. She doesn't run. He gives her a million reasons to get out of there, and she stays in there and goes, well, I'll see your weirdness and I'll raise you some more weirdness every time.
And I think that's part of that intrigue is he almost doesn't believe what she's saying. You know, he's trying to give her reasons to run away because that's what he's used to, and she's not doing it. So he keeps trying to up it, and I think that's part of that, almost that romance between the two is, you're meeting me at my level and you're even exceeding me at my level. This is different, but I like it a lot.
Now let's get to the end of Creep 2 without again trying to spoil it too much. I don't know how we're going to do that, but let's give it a whirl anyway. The thing happens at the end where he takes her out to the woods. And do you think what happens when they go on their walk, he plans that, or do you think it just happens? Again, I don't know how to do this.
No, to me, I always felt that the opportunity for him to push it over the edge was there all the way through the movie.
Okay, he could have at any time done that.
So I think it could have been at any time. I don't think it was planned.
Okay. Greg?
I'm going to try and do this as unspoilery as I can. He stated at the end that he did the thing. God, it's gonna be difficult.
He did the thing and the thing.
With the thing to the thing.
No, I got you.
Yeah, we
know what you're talking about.
He did that before she even showed up because he didn't know
he pre-planned
who was going to happen, what was going to happen to who, or something to that effect.
So you're thinking it was done before anybody was planned to be there.
Exactly,
not just her.
He had planned that situation before anybody showed up. And once again, going back to their relationship and that intrigue, he always knew that situation could arise, but he wanted to play back and forth with her to see either A, how far she would go with him, or if she would ever get to that breaking point to where it would go back to that normal situation where he's probably just going to offer and go and do that thing.
Now, let's do. Are you good, Patrick? You have anything else?
I would say that the improvement between 1 and 2 was, to me, was the dialogue.
Okay,
I felt the dialogue in the second one was much smarter, more in depth, and it really gave him an opportunity to kind of explain why he is how he is.
Okay,
a little bit more. I think it felt a little bit less improv and more real.
Okay,
the dialogue.
So Greg was a Creep 2 fan. Patrick was pretty neutral.
Yep.
And I was a fan of Creep, the first one.
Yeah.
So good thing we all agree on each other. So your rating then for Creep 2?
I would once again probably 8.59.
Same, 8.59.
Yeah, and I'm sticking with my normal, like, again, I said I like Creep better, but I would give them both an 8 across the board anyway. Yeah. There's a very small reason why I like Creep more, so it's not even like enough of a reason to give that other one a lower score.
Now,
Did you say what your reason was?
For me, after Creep, after learning or getting who Mark Duplass's character was, the intrigue now was now gone. There's no more mystery to him. You just know who he is. And when you go into Creep 2 and his character hasn't really changed, it's just like he's still just doing the same shit. There's that intrigue is now gone. I'm not trying to figure out and wonder who he is. It's just I know who he is. Who's that other character?
And I can very much appreciate that. I see exactly where you're coming from. Wouldn't you say that he's still kind of that originally his name was Joseph in Creep 1. Wouldn't you say that he's still kind of carrying that Joseph character, but in the Aaron character level? It's
the same. He's the same across the board for me. He didn't change at all for me.
Okay.
He sinks into a little bit of a weird depression thing that you see in the movie.
And see, I feel like he kind of levels himself up because now you know who he really is, but he's still got that intrigue of I can still pull rabbits out of my hat just as easily as I could as a Joseph character.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not trying to
no, you're good.
One or the other.
Yeah.
But that's just one thing that I was kind of interested in.
So with that being said, there will be a Creep 3 coming.
It has an IMDb page for Creep 3, but there's nobody assigned to it. So
yeah.
I don't know if it's actually happening or not.
Well, the way Creep 2 left us, it is very open for a Creep 3. It's been talked about. It's been mentioned a few times. Mm-hmm. If Creep 3 comes, I will chase it. You guys got me on the Creep train. Although it took quite a while to get me to watch that first one, now I'm in it. So Creep 3 comes out, I will chase that one.
And that'll probably be a podcast episode.
Yep. It will be a podcast episode.
So Creep 3 are both on Netflix. Or Creep 2. Gosh, why do I keep jumping to
Patrick,
Creep 3?
Buddy.
Creep and Creep 2 are both on Netflix. Watch them.
Watch them. And anything else that we mentioned tonight, if you get a chance and you can find them, chase them. They're all, from what I've heard across the board, are minus Bright, are pretty good movies to chase. So get out and watch a movie. So plugs. I know Greg's got plugs. Plug, Greg.
Knuckle crack. My name is Greg the Movie Guy, and I'm the best movie reviewer you've never heard of. I write movie reviews with a positive spin that you should definitely check out. Pop over to gregthemovieguy.com, see what I've written, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. Pretty soon you'll be able to read out Jumanji and Downsizing. Again, that is gregthemovieguy.com.
Greg read that whole thing.
What our audience did not see was Greg's eyes moving back and forth as he's reading off.
He wrote a plug, but it was good.
It was good.
It was he's the best reviewer you've never heard of. That is fantastic. Great,
That's
Greg.
what I'm rolling with.
Patrick, you got plugs?
Hey, you know what?
Did you write anything down?
I got nothing to plug. Hopefully soon we'll have some news about some festivals that we've submitted to. We're just waiting to hear. But that's, like everybody knows, that's a waiting game.
Yeah, we got things in the works. We hopefully will have a handful of new material out this year. While you're waiting for said material, you can check us out at MidnightFrightFilms.com. You can find us on Facebook at Midnight Fright Films, on the YouTube at the same name, Midnight Fright Films, and you can also find us on the Insta of Grams.
I take that back. I do have one other thing to plug, is that I did drop the final cut of Ghost Hunter. I am putting this thing on the shelf. I'm hopefully not ever going to touch it again, except for hopefully preparing them for the festival.
Is that on the YouTube page now?
That is on the YouTube page.
Okay. So there's new content on the YouTube page.
New content on the YouTube page, on our Facebook page.
And it is a fantastic redux. I absolutely love what you've done with it so far.
Don't say so far.
No, it's done. I love what you've done to finish it off. It's no more.
Yeah, so I guess that's everything. That's it for us at the Midnight FrightCast. We will see you on the next one, the next side. We'll see you next time.
We really have to work on ending these
I'm going to
damn
start
things.
writing something down.
You need to write something down.
See you on the flip side.